I'm on my way to work for the first day of pre-production for Come From Away. It's the first time in ages that I've caught the tram, and it was great because my stop is the very end of the tram line, so I can always have a seat, but my gosh was it packed on the way in. So I'm currently walking up towards Ultimo along Wattle Street, which is like so busy. It doesn't look busy, but just you wait, there's just cars about to stream past. And I'm about half an hour early because I'm just going to walk through the park a bit, actually, like the actual park. Oh, this is pretty. I haven't been up this early in a really long time, so my whole brain is like, everything looks weird. Grass smells really nice, it's just been cut. But yes, I've arrived stupidly early, but I want to sort of see what the rehearsal venue is like and what's around, and the best way to do that is to be early. I've pulled my hood up because I'm freezing. The sun is quite nice though, it's starting to warm up ever so slightly. The last time I rehearsed a show was actually for Pippin, and that was on the stage of the Lyric Theatre. I think it's the only time that a show has been rehearsed on the physical stage. So we had the actual show deck, we had the curtains, we had actual set pieces and stairs and all these things that usually you'd have a mock-up of. And because we were the first musical to open in Sydney after the pandemic, it was very strange. Before that, I rehearsed Billy Elliot, which was over in the ABC Centre, which is around the corner from here, it's not too far, but I've never actually rehearsed at the GWB studios. I think there used to be Sydney Dance Theatre studios when they were updating the wharf down in the other end of the city. So I think there are a series of dance studios which have now been acquired by GWB, who are currently touring American in Paris. So I don't know, it's possible that we'll run into some company members from that show, because Come From Away is produced by New Theatricals and they don't own a space. In fact, most places don't own spaces. I think GWB is one of the only large companies that's not state funded to actually own a space. And looking around, I realised we're actually really close to Broadway, so that's nice. If it ever gets like way too freezing, I could always go there to wait. I have an intention of being early. Look, I know me, I'm going to be early all the frickin' time. So I'm interested to see like what's around, if there are any good coffee shops. I now know there's a park nearby, which is really nice. Yeah, just going to do a bit of an explore until I'm needed in half an hour. I can see the sign saying GWB now, so I'm almost there. I've walked basically the whole length of Wattle Street. And it's something because I live on a spot that's actually on the tram line, otherwise I would totally have caught the train. Here we are! The day is concluded. We have finished day one of pre-production for Come From Away. And it was just lovely. It's so great being back in a rehearsal room. It's so great meeting new people and working with, like, I've never worked with Grace before, but she's the fucking bomb. Yeah, like I had a really good time. So in the morning, we sort of said our hellos, walked around the space, learned about what the venue was like, what different rooms were being used for. And then we did this fantastic thing where there was a giant tarpaulin that had been like purchased from the United States, which had all the spike marks on the tarpaulin. It's a see-through tarpaulin. And then all the spike marks had like little tabs cut around them so that you could tuck them underneath and get access to the floor. And that means that you can put a spike mark down precisely where it needs to go without having to measure. And I just think it's the cleverest thing ever, because if you were touring really quickly from one venue to another, having to measure out every single venue would just be the worst. But putting a stage cloth down where you've got everything already pre-written and pre-measured, it meant that what would have been a really horrible, difficult markup was great. And we also, because we're not rehearsing with a revolve, we had to reorientate the stage and do a number line down the front of the rehearsal room, up the side, at 90 degrees, at 180 degrees, and I don't know what comes after that. I don't know, the last quarter of the rotation, that's embarrassing. did study maths once upon a time. But yes, and so because you've got a tarpaulin, you can just pick up that tarpaulin, put a spike in the center, basically, when you've got a center mark, and rotate it 90 degrees, and then bam, put your spike marks down as required, so that you can pretend that the river's flipped. Rehearsing a show without a revolve, where the revolve is so integral to so many parts of the show, I just don't know about that. But we're going to do it anyway, because that's what the brief is. And that means that we're going to be shuffling around the creators, around the edge of the room, so that the performers know what the pace is and we actually get to see what it is. It's going to be really, really tricky. But I'm up for the challenge. It was just so great. I love starting new projects. It's the best feeling in the world.